Good day. Here are the stories for the Manila Times for Sunday, February 13, 2022. Brought to you by Wilkin Depot, the country's leading home improvement and construction supplies retailer. Shop conveniently 24 by 7 with the Wilkin online store. Just go to shop.wilkin.com.ph. With the election campaign in full swing, the Department of Health or DOH has urged local government units or LGUs to prevent mass gatherings and for candidates to follow the health protocols because the virus is still here. The campaign period for the 2022 national elections began on February 8 amid the lingering presence of the highly infectious Omicron variant of the coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19. In a briefing on Saturday, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergire said that while cases were decreasing in the country, she said that the campaign rallies were a cause for concern due to the number of people gathering at rally sites. Speaking in Filipino, Vergire reminded the public that the virus is still here, the variants are still here, and those mass gatherings which these sorties have produced are still not allowed. She said those attending campaign sorties should take care as they can still get infected with COVID, which in turn could infect family members, especially those who have yet to be vaccinated. Vergire said that self-regulation should be the mindset of every Filipino as the government prepares its roadmap towards a pandemic new normal, where there would be lesser restrictions on mobility and capacity. She said that a disease that enters the endemic phase should have an acceptable criterion of hospitalization and death, as well as the current environment of settings such as establishments and workplaces. Catholic charismatic group El Shaddai on Saturday endorsed the presidential and vice presidential bid respectively of former Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio for the upcoming national elections. El Shaddai leader Brother Mike Velarde made the announcement at the El Shaddai International House of Prayer in Parañaque City. Velarde has also endorsed Marcos in his failed bid for vice presidency in 2016. Duterte Carpio, chairman of the Lakas Christian Muslim Democrats Party, thanked El Shaddai and its millions of members for deciding to support her and Marcos. She said the endorsement of El Shaddai will inspire her and Marcos to lead the country. El Shaddai has more than 6 million members. In the past, while the group is known to endorse candidates, they have never engaged in bloc voting. The El Shaddai support comes a day after Marcos and Duterte Carpio vowed to focus more on their campaign after the Commission on Elections or COMELEC dismissed the disqualification cases against the former senator. Speaking to reporters during her visit to Nueva Vizcaya on Friday, Duterte Carpio said the COMELEC decision was a welcome development for the UNI team. Marcos, for his part, hailed the dismissal of the petitions and hoped he can carry on with the campaign without all these distractions. Duterte Carpio, daughter of President Rodrigo Duterte, is vying for the vice presidential seat under the Lakas CMD party while Marcos is running under the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas. Filipino pole vaulter Ernest John E J Obiana won gold in the 2022 Orlen Cup in Lodz, Poland on Saturday, Philippine time. Obiana cleared 5.81 meters in his first attempt to dominate the 8-man competition. The 26-year-old Olympian attempted to reset his personal best and Asian record of 5.93 meters but failed to hurdle the 5.95-meter bar in 3 attempts. Both Brazilian Thiago Braz and Polish Piotr Lisek jumped 5.71 meters, but Braz, the 2016 Olympic champion, claimed the silver for clearing the bar in just 1 attempt compared to Lisek's 2. The win did not come easy for Obiana, who has not received funding from the Philippine Sports Commission or PSC since September 2021. Obiana's request for funds has already been approved by PSC, but its release was put on hold after Philippine Athletics Track and Field Association or PATAFA chief Philip Juico questioned his liquidation reports. Obiana, who arrived on the day of the tournament in Poland, jumped into action with very little sleep. He failed to arrive in Lodz before the tilt because, according to his lawyer in Manila, the 2019 Southeast Asian Games gold medalist could only afford the 4 a.m. budget flight. Obiana has been financing his training and travel since his bitter row with the Patafa. Arnold Vigafria described his running for mayor of Olongapo City in the May 9 national elections as a destiny. During a broadcast of the Manila Times TV show Diretsong Pananaw, Vigafria, a businessman, showbiz empresario, and doctor of dental medicine, vowed to restore the lost glory of Olongapo if elected. Vigafria envisioned to revitalizing the city's long-dormant tourism industry and building its economic and industrial zones. He said Olongapo was previously known as a tourist destination and entertainment hub during the 1970s to the 1980s and up until the early 2000s. Vigafria lamented the city's administration's lack of initiative to restore Olongapo's old glory, adding the city has lost its identity. The Commission on Elections or COMELEC resolution dismissing the 3 consolidated disqualification cases against presidential candidate Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. or BBM was basically an execution of the ruling of the Court of Appeals, an election lawyer said. Lawyer Manuelito Luna issued a statement over the weekend amid a barrage of criticism against the decision written by COMELEC Commissioner Aimee Ferolino, junking the case against Marcos for lack of merit. He explained that there has been some misunderstanding and the utter mischaracterization of the tax cases against Marcos. Luna said the non-filing of income tax return or ITR is an administrative lapse and not a case for tax evasion. The director of Gamaleya Research Institute, the developer of the Sputnik 5 and Sputnik Light vaccines, said his vaccine is safe and effective for pregnant women and adolescents 12 to 17 years old, while he is now developing a version for kids and infants. In an exclusive interview with the Manila Times, his first for a Philippine news organization, Professor Alexander Ginsberg said that the Sputnik vaccine family, which consists of the 2-dose Sputnik 5 and the single-dose Sputnik Light, were shown to be effective in pregnant women from the 22nd week of their pregnancy. Filipino authorities have not yet recommended the use of both Sputnik 5 and Sputnik Light for pregnant women, citing lack of data. After declaring that Cavite is Marcos' country, Governor Juanito Victor John Vic Remulla formally endorsed presidential candidate Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., assuring him that all the local officials in the province will support his tandem with vice presidential hopeful Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio. Donned in red, the Marcos' traditional political campaign color, the governor and his brothers, Cavite 7th District Representative Jesus Crispin Boying and former Cavite Representative Gilbert Cesar Remulla, joined Marcos and his caravan in the province on Friday. Speaking to reporters, the governor promised to make Marcos win by 800,000 votes in Cavite, the second most vote-rich province with 2.15 million registered voters. In business, companies based in the United Arab Emirates or UAE are expected to invest more than $500 million in the Philippines and create much-needed employment, the Department of Trade and Industry said. During a speech at the Expo 2020 Dubai official ceremony for the Philippines National Day, Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez said that several UAE companies have expressed long-term interest in investing and exploring business opportunities in the country by signing letters of intent and memoranda of understanding during the event's business briefings. Marlon Ronquillo is our front-page columnist for the day. He tackles the family of controversial religious leader Apollo Quiboloy. Today's editorial calls on this year's election candidates to campaign responsibly despite a drop in COVID-19 cases. Read a full version on the paper's opinion section or listen to the Voice of the Times. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram and keep up with the Times. For the Manila Times, this is Paolo Dimabi.